Tonight, 3 men who once held notable positions are facing serious criminal charges. In the Woodlands, Bruce Holland, the former pastor of Calvary Chapel in the Woodlands, has been arrested. He's charged with possession with intent to promote child pornography. In the Katy Independent School District, James Stone, a teacher at Tompkins High School, has been booked. Investigators say he was arrested Monday for allegedly possessing and producing thousands of child porn images. Finally, a lawyer for Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is in jail accused of being sexual with a teen. Investigators say 45-year-old Jeffrey Downing, who makes $19,000 a month from the rodeo, approached a individual he thought was a 15-year-old girl last month. Instead, it was an undercover Harris County Precinct 1 deputy. Downing allegedly talked about having sex with a minor and sent explicit pictures. How does this happen? Joining us to talk about it, Precinct 7 Constable-elect Smokey Phillips and Eduardo Lopez de Casas of SNAP. Glad to have you here both on The Factor. Eduardo, you deal with this all the time. You are not surprised. Many upstanding citizens in the community go down for situations like this. Your thought on this?
It's a horrible thing, Isaiah. That's why my organization, that's why we exist. That's why we've been here for 37 years. And unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be here another 37 years because this is not going on once a month, once a year. It's happening, you know, bi-weekly or weekly. We just had a priest arrested in Brownsville on a 6-count indictment for repeated sexual abuse, and now they're talking about trafficking. In the schools, unfortunately, it's the dynamics that do not change. For example, even when I was a child, when you were, for example, gifted in some way, I was musically inclined, which meant that as a young child, I got to spend a lot of extra time with my teachers. I got to go to after-school events. They would take me. That still goes on, Isaiah. You still have children that go to after-school meets with teachers, with coaches, and they take advantage of that. And it is so much easier now, particularly because of the internet, because these people, they use the internet to accidentally leave their phones on the desk and have lewd pictures there. And of course, it teases these children. These children don't understand what they're being brought into. And again, what we have to do is we have to really concentrate on our parenting skills, because parents don't understand what happens with the child when their moods change. It means something's going on, and we have to investigate it, and it's probably centered in school, because that is the life of a child.
And let's bring in Captain Phillips, soon to be Constable Phillips. These individuals don't come with criminal records already. It's almost like a ticking time bomb, right? We're waiting for them to expose themselves. We're waiting for them to explode. Otherwise, there's no record. There's no way we would know unless we can get into their psyche.
Well, it's a manifestation of a social illness, because if they're willing, you're in a high position and you're really willing to take the risks, the social risk, and not only the social risk, but the jailable risk of looking at child porn is beyond my imagination. I mean, every day there's investigations going by these algorithms that know that someone's looking at child porn. So I think that people who look at child porn suffer from some kind of sexual explicit illness, some fetish for small kids that's under 18, and it's something that you never know because you never know the secret of the computer, what they're doing at the computer, until something hits to notify law enforcement that you're actually looking at child porn and downloading it.
And like I said, there's no way you can, you're talking about a pastor, you're talking about a teacher, you're talking about a highly paid attorney in a reputable organization. There's just no way to know until you know.
Exactly.
Right. They don't think they'll be caught. They don't think they'll be caught, because if you're a pastor of a church, who looks at your computer? If you're a lawyer making $17,000 a month, who looks at your computer? No one, until you make certain downloads and it notifies law enforcement. So that I think the risk of them not, they take that risk for their sexual gratification.
And once again, Eduardo, what would be your best advice to parents out there?
You just cannot leave your children alone with teachers, coaches, or anyone anymore. You just have to be so vigilant. I know that's difficult, but you have to be.
For those parents who say,
Yes.
look, you make me look paranoid, what would you tell them?
You need to be paranoid. You need to be paranoid because they sure do start crying once they find out their child has been abused. And the other horrible thing about what we find with, particularly in the schools, believe it or not, a lot of these people that get arrested are actually looking at the pornography in school during classes with the children sitting out there. They're sitting on their phones
Case in
looking
point
at
with
pornography.
one of our suspects here.
And, you know, the other problem that we have nowadays, which we didn't have many years ago, since both parents work, unfortunately, we have so many parents that actually use school and activities as babysitting for their children. They're actually relieved. Oh, the kids are going with the teacher this afternoon, and they just released them.
Right.
Well, you can't do that, Isaiah. You
All
just
right.
can't.
We want to thank you both for joining us and your expertise tonight.